Welcome to Geography class. You have already learned earlier that India is a vast country with various landforms. Now in this video, we will learn more about the physical features of India. These are the northern mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and obviously the island groups. Again, the northern mountain can be grouped into two categories. The first one is the Himalayas. The Himalayas are the geologically young and structurally old mountains stretch over the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run in a west-east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. They form an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 km. Their width varies from 400 km in Kashmir to 150 km in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. The Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges. A number of valleys lie between these ranges. The northernmost range is known as the Greater Himalaya or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peak with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks like Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Dhaulagiri, Nanga Parbat, Annapurna, Nanda Devi, Namcha Barwa and Gula Mandhata. But here you can observe that many peaks are situated in Nepal only. The next, the range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain systems and it is known as the Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. The altitude varies between 3,700 to 4,500 meters and the average width is 50 km, while the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and most important range. The Dhauladhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also the prominent ones in the Middle Himalayas. This range consists of the famous valley of Kashmir and the Kangra and Kulu valley in the Himachal Pradesh. This region is well known for its hill stations like Nainital, Ranikhet, Shimla, Kulu, Manali are situated in these Middle Himalayas. The outermost range of the Himalayas is called the Shivaliks. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 km and have an altitude varying between 900 to 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of sediments brought down by the rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located further north. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The Shivaliks are known as Duns, Dehradun and Patli Dun are some of the well-known dunes. So, what are the significance of Himalaya? You can see various routes through the Himalayan range, which is known as mountain pass. For example, Nathula, Jalepla, etc. Himalaya form a natural boundary between India and China. They serve as a climatic barrier by preventing the entry of cold winds from the Central Asia and preventing rain-bearing monsoon winds from leaving India. They are a source of perennial rivers such as Indus, the Ganga, Brahmaputra and their tributaries. I hope you know the meaning of perennial rivers. Yes, perennial rivers carries water throughout the year. As the source of these rivers are generally the glaciers, that's why these rivers carry water throughout the year. Next, their terrain is ideal for the hydroelectric power generation. The mountain slopes are forested and these forests provide different types of timber and forest products, especially in the Shivalik Himalayas. Next is the Purvanchal range. The hills of northeastern India are collectively called the Purvanchal range. Their elevation is less than 3000 meters. The Purvanchal ranges consist of several hills like Patkaibum, Naga, Mizo, Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. The northern plain has been formed by the interplay of three major river systems. These are the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra along with their tributaries. This plain is formed of alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is formed by the transportation and deposition of material by rivers. It spreads over an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. The plain is about 2,400 km long and 240 to 320 km broad. It is a densely populated physiographic division. But why is it like that? Here you can see the rich soil cover combined with adequate water supply and favorable climate. It is agriculturally a very productive part of India. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. The western part of the northern plain is referred to as Punjab plains. They are formed by the Indus and its left bank tributaries. The left bank tributaries are Jhelum, Chenab, the Ravi, Beas and Satluj. This section of the plains is dominated by Doabs. Do you know what is the meaning of Doab? Do means two and Av means water. So, Doab means land between two rivers. Similarly, Punjab is also made of two words. Panch means five and Av means water. That's why Punjab is also known as land of five rivers. The Ganga plain extends between the Ghagra and Tista rivers. It is spread over the states of Haryana, Delhi, UP, Bihar, partly Jharkhand and West Bengal to its east. Few portion of Assam lies in the Brahmaputra plain. Now I am going to give you a simple trick to remember the left bank tributaries and the right bank tributaries. I hope you know the meaning of tributaries. Tributary means a river or stream flowing into a larger river, or simply we can say a river is tributing water to another river. Now to remember the names of left bank tributaries and right bank tributaries, you can make acronyms like for the left bank tributaries I have made one acronym 3GK. 3G means the name of three left bank tributaries like Gumti, Ghagra, Gandak and K for Kosi river. So like that way you can also make the acronyms. But do you know how do we consider the left bank tributaries and right bank tributaries? Okay, let's see. Here you know this is the source of Ganga river and this is the mouth of Ganga river. As river always flow from high altitude to low altitude. If the river is flowing like this, so obviously this will be the right bank tributaries and this will be the left bank tributaries. I am trying to make it simpler for you. Suppose if a person is walking from source to mouth, obviously this side will be his right side and this side will be his left side. I hope you have understood this part. Next, let's do a quick recap on the importance of the northern plains. First, obviously the fertile soil of the plains has helped in the development of agriculture. Secondly, the soft soil has made the irrigation possible. Third, their flatness has promoted growth and development of dense network of road and rail transport. fourth one, the rivers and the tributaries of those rivers provide cheap water transport. That's all.